to talk with you was on May 4th, and at that point you told us that you think we're in an economic war right now. How much progress do you think we've made in that war?
Well, it's been pretty flat. No, I get figures on 70-odd businesses, a lot of them daily. I mean, everything I see about the economy is that we have had no bounce. The financial system was really where the crisis was, last September and October, and that's been surmounted, and that's enormously important. But in terms of the economy coming back, it takes a while. There were a lot of excesses to be wrung out, and that process is still underway, and it looks to me like it'll be underway for quite a while. In the annual report, I said that the economy would be in a shambles this year, and probably well beyond, and I'm afraid that's true.
We hear people all the time on our air who talk about the green shoots that they're seeing. Are you seeing any of those green shoots?
I wasn't seeing anything, and I had a cataract operation on my left eye about a month ago. I thought maybe now I'll be able to see some green shoots. We're not seeing them. Whether it's retailing, manufacturing, wherever, even we have a big operation, electric utility operation. Industrial demand is down like we've never seen it for a simple thing like electricity. So it hasn't happened yet. It will happen. I want to emphasize that, but it hasn't happened yet.
Earlier this year, you also told us that you think that Washington and the Obama administration should be paying attention to jobs. That's the number one, jobs in the economy is the number one, the number two, and number three job that they should be doing. Has there been progress made at all on that front?
Well, they're doing things, but they take a while to have an effect. They're doing things on a lot of fronts, but you can't produce a baby in 1 month by getting 9 women pregnant. It just doesn't work that way. So you can be throwing things at the economy, and they will have an impact, but they haven't had much impact yet. And unemployment will go high, and it will lag the turn-up of the economy.
But has Washington done enough that you think they can turn their sights to other problems that exist?
Well, they've turned their sights to other problems, but this problem is not yet solved, and it's the most important problem we have.
It continues to be. You don't think any of the urgency has come away?
No, I don't think the urgency has come away. The urgency has moved away from a total meltdown of the financial sector, which we faced last fall. I mean, I've never seen anything like that. But I will give enormous credit to the people there. I mean, Bernanke did a fabulous job. We were right at the point when people lost faith in money market funds, when commercial paper stopped being issued. People were running out, would be having a problem meeting their payrolls, very big companies, if that hadn't gotten addressed very quickly. And I give credit to the people for doing that. So that part, we moved past that particular period. We haven't got the economy going yet.
You mentioned that you think Ben Bernanke did a good job. Today is an FOMC meeting day. We're going to be hearing more about that at 2:15 today. Do you think Ben Bernanke should be reappointed to a second term? I
don't see how you can do better. Yeah, no, he has taken decisive action at a time when really decisive action was needed, and extraordinary action, things that we really hadn't done before. And if he hadn't have done, and I give the Bush administration credit on this, and Hank Paulson, they don't do everything perfectly. Nobody does. And when you're getting balls thrown at your head, by the hour, you're going to make some mistakes. But they got us through a period that, if you'd had different people in those jobs, I'm not so sure we would have gotten through.
Well, now you do have different people in those jobs. You have Larry Summers, who is advising the president. You have Tim Geithner, who's there. You have Ben Bernanke. What do you think of the troika today?
I think you've got the people you name are very, very good, and I think Bernanke is very much the key. I mean, the Fed came through for us.
You haven't commented since the Obama administration rolled out these new regulatory overhaul plans that they've been looking at. What do you think overall about it? There's a consumer protection agency that's involved with this. There's a lot of other different arenas. But is this a step in the right direction?
We'll see how the statute reads. But basically, we got way over leveraged in the financial arena, and the American public got over leveraged too. So I mean, we do need something to address that. We do need something to address institutions where the wrong incentives are in place, so that their personal incentives are at real variance with what our national incentives should be. And so we need something to make sure we don't get into the situation again that we were in last September. And that leverage is a big key to it. Now, that's a huge problem to attack, and how it's written and how it's administered is not an easy job.
But can you lay that down as a rule? I mean, should it be that you can't be levered more than 10 to 1? You can't be leveraged up more than 20 to 1? How do you figure out?
It's very, and you can't lay down a rule like that, unfortunately, because just through derivatives, you can have an enormous amount of leverage that doesn't show, and you can have an interconnectedness that causes one domino to hit the next. It is not a simple problem. You don't just write down leverage of 10 or 20 to 1 or something of the sort. There's all kinds of different leverage. I mean, you can leverage against home mortgages with big down payments, and that'll be relatively safe. You can leverage against somebody else who's leveraged, and you've got troubles getting compounded. So it's not a simple problem. It's an important problem.
Is it one that can be tackled? Is there a solution, a potential solution?
It's not easy. It's not easy. You need somebody. You need reasonable rules, and you need a very, very good administrator or a group of administrators doing it. It's not an easy problem. People like to go to excesses, and the incentives are in a market system to overshoot. And it's happened over the years. America's genius has not been in avoiding problems. It's been in surmounting them once they happen. And fortunately, we've come through again on that.
So you're not saying it's an impossible task, but it doesn't sound like you're very hopeful that we could prevent something like this from happening again.
I think that what started out maybe with the tulip mania, 400 years ago, and continued through the South Sea bubble and all of those sorts of things, it's in human nature to go to excess, and it's very hard in a country of 300 million people and a $14 trillion GDP and all of that to set up a set of rules that will prevent excesses in a market system. But I think there can be improvements made, and I think that's what we're shooting for.
All right. Warren, if you don't mind, we're going to sneak in a quick commercial break.